Hi, welcome to Governance Bites. I'm Mark Banicevich, and today it is my absolute pleasure again to spend more time with Dr Denis Mowbray. Denis, thank you very much again for your time.
Mark, absolute pleasure. Enjoyed the first time.
Oh, thank you. Denis has done lecturing in governance. He's got a PhD in governance and worked at Auckland University of Technology. He's the president and chair of Governance New Zealand. He's on the, or has been on the board of Gymnastics New Zealand and is on the board of some of the international gymnastics bodies. He's been on for-profit governance boards, as well as gymnastics being a not-for-profit governance board. A massive wealth of experience, and I don't think we've got more than a handful of governance academics in New Zealand, so an absolute wealth of knowledge, and I think I could do an entire series just with Denis if he'd let me. So thank you very much again, Denis,
pleasure.
for your time.
Absolute pleasure.
The topic that we're going to talk about today is the board plan.
Yep.
So the plan that, well, in fact, I'm going to ask you, what is a board plan?
Well, it's a rare creature in most boards, I'd have to say, and so a board plan is really no different to any other meeting plan that you would have, except for possibly one or two major things. And so that it's a plan for the board. It lays out when their meetings are, dates are taking that they're being held on, any visitors that may attend, and then it lays out across different areas, so fiduciary duties, reporting, strategy, risk, and it highlights in the various reporting periods when major events are going to occur. So, for example, annual financial accounts. So in most organisations, they will have to meet with the auditor, or the audit and risk committee will meet with the auditor. They will do some reporting, and you'll work your way towards finalisation of your annual accounts. For the board, that's a really important piece of work. And so understanding when certain elements are going to be brought to the board. So, for example, January 24th, Audit and Risk Committee is meeting with the auditors externally, report to the board, and so on and so forth, until you get through to the end of the period, whatever it might happen to be, and there's a note in the plan that says sign off on annual accounts. Mm-hmm. So an annual plan lays out for the directors and for all of those who report exactly when and what major reports or components of a board meeting are going to be held. So other elements would be, for example, strategic review. So you might say in December every year or in November every year, we're going to hold a strategic review of the year past, understand the things that we've done, what's changed in the environment, what do we need to alter, redefine our plan or restructure our plan to take account of the changes, and move into the following year. Another element might be board reviews, which we've spoken about. So on a biannual basis, there's a board review process in place. Mm-hmm. It may be education. So you may have two meetings or one meeting every year where you bring in an expert from outside and you spend a couple of hours with an expert who takes you through all of the things that are impacting an area of interest for your board. And so the idea is that if you don't plan those things, you work your way through the year and you get to the year and you go, oh, we should have done some education, or oh, we were supposed to do a board review or something like that, and you don't actually have it planned. Mm-hmm. And for the executive, it's really important for them because they know the work that they have to do in preparation. So if they're going to be doing a strategic review in November, then they know that in September, October, they have to start preparing documentation for a strategic review.
Yes.
And it's not getting to midway through October and the chair says, oh, well, in November, we're going to be doing a strategic review. We'd like you to do this stuff for us.
Yes.
So it's all about preparation and forewarning all of those people that are going to be involved. It's about providing an opportunity for the board to input into the plan. So you do 2024's plan, you would have finalised in the December of 23 or the last meeting, and that would be a work in progress. So everybody knows when the meetings are. Everybody knows when the Audit and Risk Committee, for example, is going to report, or the REM Committee is going to report. They know if they have visiting experts or if they're doing strategy days or staff engagement days, or if you're a socially based organisation, it might be that you have an annual meeting with your annual general meeting, and during the day you meet with the staff, and so all of that is in the plan.
Right.
And so that's what a board plan is. It's relatively simple.
Kind of makes sense, really.
Yes, it does.
You've got the months laid out. You're putting your board meetings in. You'll have other events, as you say, like your strategic review. You might have meetings with stakeholders and things that'll happen through the year. Then you're putting in for each of those meetings or for each of those events any major things that are happening along the line, like signing off of annual accounts, as you say, board performance reviews. You might have if there's any policies that need to be approved by the board, when they're going to be coming up for review, those sorts of things.
Yes.
So they're all planned out through the year, so you haven't got lumps of things happening in one time. Nothing gets missed. Everything is, it keeps the ball on track.
And it's relatively easy.
Right, so who puts this together? Is it something that the chair puts together, or the CEO puts together, or a combination, or how does this work?
Well, it's a trifecta actually. So it's the chair and CEO initially, because they are the ones that plan out the meetings as a general rule.
Yes.
They plan them around the various major elements that are occurring, and then it goes to the board, and the board review it and go, okay, that all fits in, yes, or have we missed something? So it is a trifecta of people. It's the chair, CEO initially, as it should be, and then it's the board as a group signing off on it and going, yep, that works for us.
Right.
The other thing it does is that for people who have multiple boards, it gives them a clear plan. They know exactly how much time they have to spend where in order to be prepared. So if there's, again, if you're using a strategy day as an example, they know that in the period leading up to that, they have to start really diving deep into their organisation they're with, understanding how it's gone, what's coming up, issues, so on and so forth. And that means that if they are on 2 or 3 other boards, they can plan their time around that, and they can go, well, I can't do anything else in that time, but I'm free afterwards, or whatever it might happen to be.
Right, okay, thank you. And I take it, coming back to the content of the plan, you'd also have laid in out when your audit and risk committee meetings are, when your remuneration committees are, any other major subcommittees for the board when they're laid out.
Yep. So it's a complete board plan and includes all elements that are associated to the board. So you would have, for example, you would have your CEO review, and you would have that documented, either the REM committee's meeting or whoever it is that's doing it, external consultant, if that's the way that it works, and that all those things would be plugged into the plan, and you would be able to see them at an instant. And people might think, that plan has, do I have to have another piece of software, or is there something? I just use an Excel sheet.
Yes. Yeah.
It's easy.
That's all it is. Yeah.
And then colour code it and just list the things down that need to be on there. And there's an easy template. So it takes no time at all, but is a tremendous benefit to the board and all of those who are associated with it in their planning and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Fantastic. So once it's created, who then is responsible for driving it? Is it driven by the CEO or driven by the chair, or a combination?
It's driven by the chair in collaboration with the CEO and the board. So the chair is in control of that element of it, but it is a collaborative control, not a dictatorial control.
Right.
So if things need to be changed, then it's a consultation and agreement about how things are going to be changed. But if you've done the preparation correctly, there should be minor changes only, not major changes. Unless, like the beginning of COVID, for example, that would have shot everybody's plan to pieces because suddenly everything is different. Mm-hmm. And so that's why a plan is really important, because then in those situations you can sit down and go, okay, this is throwing us, but these elements in our board plan, or these things we have to do, can't be ignored. We have to plan them in some way.
Yes.
So you don't get this situation of an emergency arises, e.g. COVID, everything else gets thrown out the door, and then you get to a point you go, we're supposed to be doing that other, we're supposed to be doing the CEO review. What do we do now? don't have bandwidth, don't have time.
So anytime you are putting some of those things back, you're doing it consciously. You're saying, okay,
Yes.
the CEO review, we've got this emergency right now, we can push that back 3 months.
Yes.
And it becomes a very conscious decision to do so. And as you say, a simple Excel spreadsheet, list of activities on the left-hand side, list of months across the top, little ticks in the boxes. We come to our July meeting, we look down the list, what are the ticks that we have to cover off this time? They go into the agenda for your board meeting, you're away.
Yeah, and paper preparation is a lot easier as well. Everybody knows that in July we're going to be receiving a report from the REM committee, and we're going to be receiving a report from our risk and audit committee, or our audit and risk committee. And so those are two major pieces of work that have to be done.
Yes.
So the committees know that they have to report in, and they know that the papers have to be out sort of 7 to 10 days before, depending on the thickness of the papers.
Yes.
So that also tells them what their reporting timeline is and when their meetings are. So for example, one organisation I was chair of, we used to have our audit and risk committee was in the week before the board meeting.
You've experienced that as well.
So everything was up to date and could be reported at the time.
Yes, right. Okay, that creates a really cohesive plan.
Yep.
Makes it, the chair would then be in a position to be on top of, say, for example, calling the chair of the audit and risk committee and saying, you've got a report due next month.
Yep.
Do you need any help? Is everything under control?
Yep.
Keeps the board ticking over in a nice, coherent,
Yeah,
sensible way.
and the other thing it does is I'm not sure how you've experienced this, but in some organisations it is easier for the CEO to control the agenda if there's no plan around how that agenda is put together, because they can drive it quite often in they would say collaboration with the chair, but really they are driving the chair and the agenda. And I'm sure that some of your listeners would have experienced a situation where the CEO structures the agenda to suit their requirements rather than necessarily suit the board's desire to understand what's happening in the business and to be fully informed about what's happening. So again, a plan structures that, and it's very difficult for the CEO to find a place to hide in those sorts of things.
Right, absolutely. And as a director, if you're letting that happen, you should be speaking out.
Yes.
And saying, these are things that we have not been doing.
Yes.
We need to get this plan in place. We need to be on top of this stuff. And if you as a director are not stepping in and raising those issues, you're not doing your job either.
Correct. And so again, it gives you an opportunity to see, for example, when not every board will have all of their executive attend all the time. Mm-hmm. But once or twice a year, you should have your senior executive team, senior leadership team, join your board meetings so that you can engage with them, because theoretically, they are your future leader. Somewhere in there should be your future leader. And if the board doesn't understand the skills, experience, all of those things that are available to them, they're not necessarily going to be making decisions in a fully informed way, because it's only the CEO's view that they will be receiving. Absolutely. So really important that the board engages with the whole senior leadership team, not just the CEO and occasionally the others.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
I'm going to ask you one more question, a bit of a general question, and you might have to think a fair way back for this.
Okay.
What's the best advice that you've received about governance?
The best advice
Given the
I've
length of
received.
your career in governance, it might be a while back.
Okay, so the best advice I probably have received and would pass on is, don't let your ego get the better of you around the board table. So we may think we're highly experienced and knowledgeable and have all the answers. The reality is we are slightly knowledgeable, have most of the answers, and some of those are wrong. So be prepared to listen more than you talk.
Right.
But talk at the right times.
Awesome. Denis, again, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Mark.
Really
Absolute pleasure.
and I'll look forward to seeing you next episode.